The human body is made up of billions upon billions of cells. Much like how our bodies have organs to carry out specific instructions, cells are required to do the same. The organs inside cells are much smaller and are actually called organelles. This network of cells and organelles is much like the network of a computer, a cyborg, where the organelles are the hardware. Take the plasma membrane for example. This organelle acts much like the casing of a computer. Its job is to separate the interior of the cell from the rest of the body, keep all the components of the cell together and to protect the cell from any harm. In the same way, the casing of a computer holds and protects all of the hardware required for the computer to function. The nucleus is the brain or main control center of a cell. It's where all of the information and instructions needed for the cell to function properly are stored. In a computer, the motherboard is basically the same thing as the nucleus. The motherboard is responsible for responding to and sending corresponding commands to the different parts of the computer. Lysosomes remove unhealthy or unnecessary materials from the cell and recycle old organelles. The recycle bin in a computer performs the same functions as the lysosomes in a cell. The job of the recycle bin is to clean up the computer by deleting old or useless files and programs. Ribosomes are basically like the RAM of a computer. RAM or random access memory is what the computer uses to understand and store temporary information. This information is required to allow the computer to multitask. The ribosomes inside a cell produce protein which is used inside the cell for similar reasons. The endoplasmic reticulum basically functions the same way as the silicon wires and circuitry chips of a computer. Its main purpose is to transport cells, protein and other essential entities. In a computer, the silicon wires transport information, commands and/or electricity across the system. The Golgi apparatus is responsible for controlling the import and export of protein and other nutrients in and out of the cell. In addition, it repairs materials that the cell requires. USB ports have a similar function by transferring files, data and information in and out of the computer, which can sometimes also unwillingly repair damaged files. The vacuole is like a hard drive in a computer. Similar in function, its main task is to store nutrients or information that aren't required by the cell and to hold waste which is to be disposed of later. Like the vacuole, the hard drive is used to store files and programs which the computer doesn't require. It also holds deleted files for a short period of time. Cells get all of their energy or APD from the mitochondria. The electron transport chain or ETC, for short, also takes place in this organelle. The energy is taken from the battery and converted into electrons in which the computer can use to power itself, which is similar to what the electron transport chain does. The cytoplasm is a gel-like layer underneath the cell membrane encasing the organelles in the cell, except for the nucleus. Its main purpose is to keep the cell afloat and movable. This allows the cell to maintain the organelles and keep itself healthy and clean. Think of the cytoplasm as the cooling fans in the computer. The nucleolus is located in the nucleus of a cell. Its purpose is to produce ribosomes and send them to the other organelles. The nucleolus can be related to the CPU of a computer. It produces essential entities and sends them to different sections of hardware. The organelles used in this analogy represent an animal cell, although plant cells also contain these organelles. The simplest way to know whether a cell is a plant or an animal's is to check to see if it has chloroplast. If it does, it is a plant cell. In the same way, all of the hardware in the computer working together makes it possible for the computer to function properly and obey commands. It's the world of a cyborg.